I just set that out. Hello and welcome back to Books and Bargains. After posting yesterday saying about my reservations of coming back, I just want to thank you all so much for your lovely messages. I genuinely did a kind of drop and run and didn't look at the comments for a little while, and I have just been absolutely blown away by your kindness. Like I say, I got myself into this real kind of negative headspace where I thought that people weren't enjoying my content, and I just can't thank you enough for all of your comments. I think as a whole, we female human beings tend to put a lot of pressure on ourselves to do all the things and be all the things and not complain and be a good girl. And I think that just having this outlet again has already kind of brightened my world a little bit. After saying yesterday that my life is boring, I did a thing today. I took Nana to see Annie at the Curve in Leicester, and I just want to put out there in the world publicly how fantastic the Curve's access programme is. So I don't know the ins and outs of details of it, but I rang the Curve to book tickets. Nana saw the advert for Annie with Craig Revel Horwood, he of Strictly fame, and said she'd like to see it. So I rang them to book. Nana uses a wheelchair. She's nearly 97 and she has arthritis in her legs, and she's had a couple of falls. She has osteoporosis, so especially when there's a lot of people around, don't get me wrong, she can still mobilise a little bit. She walks around the house with a frame, but when we're out and about, she's high risk of falls and she can't walk very far because she gets out of breath. So I rang up to look at getting seats booked for us. And if you haven't been to the Curve in Leicester, it is such a fantastic theatre. I know a lot of old theatres have like steep steps, whereas the Curve is pretty accessible all over anyway, from the fact that it doesn't have any steep staircases, and it has big wide steps. But we booked tickets for the end of an aisle. Now they have both spaces that can be used and just push the wheelchair in, or transfer seats, and we booked a transfer seat, and the seat arm itself can be kind of moved round if you need it to be. And also, I don't know any of the other benefits that class towards it. I will leave a link below to the Curve's website, but because Nana gets attendance allowance because of her Alzheimer's, I got an essential carer ticket. So we paid for the one ticket and got mine free, which is great. Nana wouldn't be able to go without me, and theatre tickets are pricey. I absolutely love the theatre, but there's no way, and we'd have to scrimp and save a bit more. We still probably would have been able to go, but just knowing that I can go with her for free is fantastic. There are a lot of accessible toilets. The lovely people at the Curve did offer, so our seats were on the end of the row, and so we waited till last minute to sit down to let everybody else get into the row. And they did offer for her to, they said that the seats behind us were free if she wanted to stay sat in her wheelchair, but she preferred to transfer to the seat. And yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to all the staff there. They were all absolutely lovely, down to the fact that once Nana had transferred to her seat, they took her wheelchair outside and they store it safely. And we were queuing for one of the accessible toilets and they pointed out where the others were. So yeah, cannot thank the Curve enough for that. And on to the performance. I have sobbed today. Firstly, obviously, I say obviously, if you're new to my channel, you might not know this, that Nana has Alzheimer's, and sometimes find it a little bit difficult for her engaging with things. She can if there's a group of us out for a meal, for example, she can't keep up with different conversations. So I wasn't sure how it would go today. I did notice that the Curve do a lot of Alzheimer's friendly performances as well. However, Nana's not quite at the stage that she'd need that, I don't think. Oh, I don't know what's got into my eye there. So I wasn't sure how she'd get on, and from the minute it started, every time I looked over at her, her face was just lit up. The performance itself was absolutely fantastic. I sometimes think when you go and see a show that's got a big name attached to it, like Craig Revel Horwood was Miss Hannigan, I have seen shows with Marty Pellow, and any Marty Pellow fans out there, I am sorry, but I cannot stand Marty Pellow. And I always think that he has this air of arrogance. I've seen him in Jekyll and Hyde and The Witches of Eastwick, and both times it was clear that there was a chunk of the audience that had just come to see it because it was Marty Pellow, like whooping every time he walked on stage. And there was almost this arrogance about him. And actually today, don't get me wrong, Craig was fantastic, and Craig has a cracking pair of legs. But actually, for me, Craig wasn't the star. The group of girls that played the orphans were absolutely fantastic. Obviously, the star of the show was Annie, but there were also a group of girls that played the orphans, and there was this one little blonde girl, and her facial expressions, she was so good that even when there was an ensemble, I just found myself drawn to her. But yeah, the whole performance was fantastic. And if you have the means to go and see it, and if you're into musicals, I would highly recommend it. There is going to be Paul O'Grady and Jodie Prenger are also starring in this as it goes on tour. Now, I'm just going to run through this quickly because I didn't realise how many places it's going on tour. But again, I will leave a link below. But it is going to Newcastle, Edinburgh, Liverpool, Birmingham, Nottingham, Oxford, Woking, Southampton, Cardiff, Dartford, Bradford, Stoke, Southend, Llandudno, Bromley, Aberdeen, Norwich, Glasgow, Milton Keynes, Plymouth, Dublin, Blackpool, Manchester, Sunderland, Wolverhampton, Belfast, Wimbledon, Bristol, and more to be confirmed. So can you believe that? It was just, I can't put into words how fantastic this play was. And it's just reignited the spark in me for musicals. I think, like, I used to perform. I haven't performed in years apart from karaoke in Corfu. And it just reminded me how much I love seeing a musical come together. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned this. The reason that I sobbed is because I was watching and they started singing Hard Knock Life. And I look over to Nana, her face is beaming, and she was mouthing along to absolutely every one of the words. And, oh, don't want to get emotional again now. So that was today. While we were there as well, we've booked to see 42nd Street in May. So yeah, I can already feel my legs starting to ache now. It is 5 to 8, and when I tell you that I don't think it'll be long until I jump into bed, I am not lying. So I'm going to put my pyjamas on. I'll come on tomorrow and I will update you on the books that I'm currently reading, and also some books that I finished in January and February, because I realise that it is basically March now and I haven't spoken about any books on here. Do you know what? Let's do it quickly now. So I wanted to just share with you some of the books that I finished and enjoyed. One that I don't have with me is Catherine Ryan Howard's Runtime. This is the third Catherine Ryan Howard that I've read. I have also read 56 Days and The Nothing Man, and given them all 4.5 or 5 stars. All fantastic thrillers that kept me going throughout. I also read 2 more of Cressida MacLachlan's The Cornish Cream Tea books. I read The Cornish Cream Tea Wedding, which I absolutely loved. These books just came to me at a really dark time when I just needed some joy. I have skipped the Christmas book that comes between these two, and I'm going to save it till December. And I do think that so far the Cornish Cream Tea Holiday has been my absolute favourite of the whole series. This is book number 6 or 7, I think. And yeah, I love them all. I cannot complain about them. But this one, we've kind of moved slightly away from the main. So these books are all set in Port. Oh no, hang on, what is it? Which port is this? I think this one's Port Caradoc. Yeah, so we've moved to Port Caradoc now from Porthgallao. But you do still get your little Easter eggs of characters from these in this. This, again, like the Heidi Swain books, is one of those series that you could totally read you could totally read any book in any order, but it does contain minor spoilers for before. I think I've said before, it's like, say in this one, it was Charlotte and Tom to get together. In this one, you might see Charlotte and it would be like she was meeting her husband Tom at the pub. But generally, you know from page 1 who's going to get together at the end anyway. So it's not a massive spoiler. I'm rambling now, aren't I? But can you see I'm getting into the swing of things? Another book to soothe your soul. I read all the first 3 Pages & Co books, and I've got the next 2 up there to read. Pages & Co is a middle grade, but it is a fantastic middle grade following Book Wanderers, and this really brings the magic of books to life. Highly recommend these if you haven't already read them, or if you've got children that are into reading. I think they would love these. Then I read Millie Johnson's The Yorkshire Pudding Club, and I feel a little bit on the fence about this one because I can tell that I'm really going to love Millie Johnson as an author, but there are quite a few problematic things in this one. But it is an older book. When was this? So, 2018. Okay, so I thought this was early 2000s. So actually, I think I would have to knock this down a star. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed reading it, but there were lots of fat phobic comments and diet culture comments, and I think I've said about books before, some books go so ham on it that I just can't read them. There's a few that I've DNF'd this week, including Page Tune's Lucy in the Sky, because before I'd even got into it, there was fat comments and this, that and the other. Whereas this, it was more subtle, but definitely still there. I described it before like having a stone in your shoe, that it was there and I was aware of it and it was irritating me, but it wasn't enough to make me DNF it, if that makes sense. And the last book that I've finished recently that I wanted to share with you is Kennedy Ryan's Before I Let Go. Now, I got this with my Words and Kisses subscription. I subscribed last year for a monthly, I think it's a contemporary box that I subscribed to, because I wanted to broaden my horizon with romance a little bit. I have really hated a lot of popular romance books. I didn't like The Hating Game. I didn't like The Love Hypothesis. I didn't like, I can't think of the name of it, the Helen Huang one. It's not The Bride Test. I think it's the first one. Whatever it is, I'll put it here, but I really didn't like that. And this, I loved. Let me put that out there. I really loved this. This is not one that I would have picked up on my own. There was no, I mean, I think it's a stunning cover, but it's American. I'm really not that into American fiction as a general rule. I like British fiction. It's a second chance romance, which I would have said to you, no, I'm not into. But actually, I mean, this has got major content warnings for pregnancy and baby loss, and I think that's it. Oh, death of a relative as well. But actually, this had me hooked the whole way through. This would have been a 5-star but I found the sex rather cringe. I don't know if I'm just too much of a prude, but that said, it's really weird because part of me thinks, oh, it's because I'm not that into straight sex, but actually the Brown Sisters books, the straight sex in them doesn't make me cringe. But yeah, this made me cringe quite a lot. There was just something about the sex scenes that I didn't like, and I don't know why it made me cringe so much. I can't put my finger on it, but that said, I still think this book is a fantastic read. The love between our two main characters is so strong, and the love for their family and their community, and also the talks of the descriptions of kind of grief and things in this book were just so raw that they were fantastic. So I really am going to sign off for the day now. I will probably be back tomorrow. Who knows?
I had food poisoning once. Bad, like sitting on the toilet with a trash can on my lap. Bad, you know? Wincing a little, Amelia said, "And this feels like that?" Biting her lip so hard she was surprised she didn't taste blood. Shut up. Focus. We have a list to discuss.
You would be forgiven from seeing the B-roll footage for thinking that today has been a really chilled out day. No, that is not the case. First of all, though, that curry that I made was absolutely banging. That's the only way to describe it. So I got the recipe from the Board of Lunch Healthy Slow Cooker Cookbook, which I'll leave link below, but also the recipes are all on Instagram, and yeah, they're fantastic. I wanted to have a little rant actually, and it fits nicely here. I mean, excuse the hair, I'm just about to go and have a shower, but I was talking to my friend Charlie Brooke today about how people don't understand fatigue, and she said to me about how people just think if you went out more and did more, you'd suddenly have this energy. And it's like, no. One of my biggest pet peeves of recent years is the kind of self-help advice of, well, if you get up and get dressed and do your makeup, it'll set you up for the day. And don't get me wrong, that might work for some people, but if I was to spend energy getting up and dressed and putting makeup on and things on days that I didn't need to, that would be all I could do. By staying in my PJs all day and having my hair like this, I managed to get shit done. Another thing that it's taken me a long while to kind of come to terms with myself is that it's not wrong to buy pre-prepared meals, but also ingredients. So for example, today I used frozen garlic, frozen chopped onions, frozen mango, and just by having those things to hand, I can put together a meal a lot easier than I could if I stood and chopped it all then. People don't understand. I mean, a lot of the pain I'm having at the moment is in my wrists, so actually chopping a mango would cause me a lot of pain, so just not going to do it. Also today, as you know, I have two cats, Bert and Ernie, who are house cats. I was in the kitchen, I had the window open a crack, and literally out of nowhere, Ernie zooms through the lounge, through the kitchen window, it must have taken me no more than a minute to get shoes on and get the key to the back door to go out and see what he was doing. In that 30 seconds, he'd got a bird in his mouth. Now, I haven't met, well, I've met my neighbours the one side, but over the other side we have a business rather than houses. And I was just there in my pyjamas and Crocs, screaming at the cat to put this bird down. All the while, this blooming cat is prancing about like he's cock of the walk for catching this bird. And in the end, I don't know why I'm laughing. I mean, my heart rate at the time was up so high because he's a house cat. This is my first, I mean, I know that this is what cats do, but he's a house cat and he's never shown any inkling with birds. And I was just kind of holding him, like shaking him until he dropped this bird. And then I ran back in the house with him. So I don't know if the bird was just stunned or dead. I will have to deal with that tomorrow. But yeah, that was fun, and it was one of Tom's work in the office days, so really enjoyed that. I have finished 2 books in the past few days that I wanted to talk to you about. And the first one is Charlotte Levin's If I Let You Go. I'm going to be on a blog tour for this next week, the 7th of March, on my Instagram. So I don't want to give too much away about it here. You'll have to check out my Instagram for that. But I would say if you don't need content warnings for anything, pick this up and go into it without knowing anything. Because there are a lot of things throughout this that I think I'm glad I didn't know, but I still don't know how to feel. I mean, I finished this book. I think it's going to be a 4 or 5 star, somewhere thereabouts. The main character, I went from really wanting to give her a hug to really not understanding some decisions she'd made, and then really wanting to give her a hug and then really not agreeing with things that she was doing. And it made me question in my head, like, can I give a book a 5 star if I didn't agree with the character? Like, I remember reading a few years ago Alice Sebold's, I can't remember what it was called. I think it was The Almost Moon. I'll put a picture here. And lots of people gave it really low scores because they hated the main character. I also hated a lot of things that she did, but the way it was written made me give it, I think, 4 stars. And it's the same with this one. I do have another book by this author that I want to, I'm going to bump up and try and get read soon because I really enjoyed the writing style. And this was sent to me via Book Break. So thank you, Book Break, for that one. Really, really enjoyed it. And then the other book, I read Bibliomaniac by Robin. I don't know whether it's Ince or Ink, probably Ince. I had no bloody idea what was going on for most of this book, but I think I loved it. That I know that sounds really strange, but it's basically his memoir of a tour around the bookshops of Britain, and actually the way he talks about needing books in Oxfams and charity shops just made me smile every time. I loved being on this tour around UK bookshops, and yeah, I think I want to meet Robin because Robin is diagnosed with ADHD, and I found the way that he wrote so soothing to my brain. Like I said, a lot of the time I didn't know what was going on, but I just enjoyed the ride, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going to go and have a shower now because I am starting at a choir tomorrow. So obviously my anxiety levels are through the roof. Currently reading a lot of books, but actually the 2 that I am really into at the moment and want to finish soon is A Girlhood by Carolyn Hayes. I have been reading this for far too long, but it's so brilliantly haunting and beautifully written that I'm having to take it slow. And I'm now in my crime era. One of the Pop Sugar prompts is to read a book from the year you were born, I think, or I might have just made that up. But anyway, this was from the year I was born, so I'm reading and enjoying that. Like I say, gonna have a shower, then settle down with these and a top tier snack of mini roll. Good afternoon. I am speaking rather quietly because Nana is napping just next door. It is so dark in here today. I've got my ring light on, otherwise you wouldn't see me. I mean, I could open the curtains, but there's building work going on next door and yeah, people are just literally right there. So last night I did film a clip, but I'm going to delete it because it was so rambly. But I joined the choir last night, and after almost coming home, when I arrived there and telling Tom just to turn around and bring me home, I stuck it out and I had the best night. Had an absolutely amazing night, just going along, singing, meeting new people. But today I have social hangover. So today has been very nice, quiet, slow. Started reading Rosalind Palmer Takes the Cake, and at 11 pages in I decided it's going to be a 5-star read, so I hope it doesn't let me down. The quote of someone being a vagina half full kind of homosexual just absolutely did me in, and I was laughing for about 10 minutes and Nana was just looking at me like, what are you laughing at? And obviously I can't say that kind of thing out loud to Nana, so yeah. But I have had some book mail today, so I thought I'd share that with you. The first one, I think I know what it is. I'm going to try not to show my address here. Oh yes, so ooh, sprayed edges. So the first one is from World of Books, and that is None of This Is Serious by Catherine Prasifka. This is the group read for the Irish Readathon. I know nothing about it, and this was, I think, £4.19 including postage. I do love World of Books for secondhand books, and you know, the spine's a bit battered, but generally looks in good condition, so that can go on my stack of Irish Readathon books. And then this one, I believe, is my Words and Kisses club. I've subscribed to this, I think I've mentioned before, so I get a book every month. Let's see what it is. Oh, if I can even get into it. So I obviously buy this myself each month, but I think this would make a fantastic gift because it always comes wrapped like this, and I just love that. I just absolutely love that comes like that. I'm actually going to pause here quickly because I'm going to take a photo of that before I open it. Right, photo taken. So this says, I adored this beautiful exploration of identity, culture, and of course love, and this fabulous cast of characters. I hope you do too, Amy. I've got no idea what this is going to be. Oh, do you know what? I think I just asked for this one off Book Break. So that is Sorry Bro by Talene Vascuni. And I literally heard an Own Voices debut rom-com, a bisexual My Big Fat Greek Wedding, and I was like, yes, I need to have that. So if I have asked for that off Book Break, which I think I have, I'm putting away a few things for a very special giveaway. I am 50 subscribers away from 2k, and when I get there I want to do a giveaway. So if I get a second copy of this, which I think I'm going to, then I will put that in that giveaway for you guys. Yeah, this is just, like I say, going to be a quick update. It is my 10th wedding anniversary today, and me, Tom and Nana are going for a meal tonight. We're going to the Fieldhead Hotel in Markfield, and we're going to really push the boat out and probably go 3 courses. So expect to see some B-roll footage of the food, and then I will be back tomorrow if I have any updates for you. To end this vlog, I have just had a shower and I'm just getting ready to chill tonight because I am shattered. Had a really bad chronic pain night last night. The meal was absolutely beautiful, but I wasn't careful with what I ate. So obviously I'm on a low residue diet, and I tried some of Nana's spinach, which I think may have been the culprit. But yeah, had really bad pain last night, and today I've just not been feeling great. So I'm going to end this vlog here. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please let me know down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.